hip hop dances.
Teach me how to duck, teach me how to duck, teach me how to duck, teach me how to duck.
I know you're a jerk. I know you're a jerk. I know you're a jerk. Ay.
Do the stanky leg, do the stanky leg, do the stanky leg when I hit the dance. Watch me whip, hey. Now watch me nay nay. Okay. Now watch me whip, whip. Watch me nay nay. Why me? Hit the quad, hit the quad, hit the quad, hit the quad. Juju on that beat, juju on that beat, juju on that, juju on that, juju on that beat. Shoot, 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 shoot. Hit them folk, hey. Watch me hit them folk.
Well, I really rock, what? I didn't in my sock, what?
Whoa, looking at my drip, looking at your drip. Whoa, mommy, look at me. Oh, I'm killing it. Whoa.
Hello, algebra class. This is our final mini lesson, and I just want you to note the sweat right now from that last TikTok. That took a lot out of me, but I wanted to make sure it was a good one. I hope these TikTok videos have brought a smile to your face during this time. Super emotional. I'm so sad that this is our final lesson. I'm super duper proud of all the hard work that you've put in during remote learning. I know this has been super challenging and none of us expected this to happen, but you've really handled it well. You've gotten the math done. I'm always so excited to see your work, as is Miss Wilson and Miss Arlack. And we really want you to end the school year really well. We want to make sure that you pass algebra. So for our last lesson, I'm going to stop crying. For our last lesson, I'm going to go through the 3 methods that we've learned for solving quadratic equations. So Unit 7 has all been about the quadratic equation. And the parabola is the graph for a quadratic equation. And when we solve a quadratic equation, we are specifically looking for the roots. So the first method that you learned was solving graphically. That means you're given a graph, and all you have to do is identify the roots, and our roots are on our x-axis. So in this example, I have a positive root at 2, 0, and I have a negative root at -1, 0. So my roots are x equals 2 and x equals -1, and those are also my solutions. The second method that we learned for solving a quadratic equation is factoring. And you learned about trinomials, you learned about the leading coefficient, you learned about the b and the c term, and then we brought all of that together so that we could factor a quadratic equation like this one. 0 is equal to 1x squared minus 6x minus 55. So for a problem like this, I have to set up my fill in the blanks. When I hear the number 55, it ends in a 5, so I know one of the factors has to be 5. So I'm going to use the numbers 11 and 5. Now I need to ask myself, which number should be negative, the 11 or the 5, so that when I add up, I get -6. It's good to have the calculator for this because you can guess and check. In this example, the 11 needs to be negative because it's the larger number. -11 times +5 is -55, and -11 plus +5 is -6. Now that I filled in the blanks, I'm going to write the factored form. For my factored form, I'm going to use parentheses, and I'm going to use the exact same sign that I used in the blanks. I wrote a -11, so my parentheses has a -11. I wrote a +5, so my parentheses has a +5. And now I'm going to set each of these parentheses equal to 0 and solve using inverse operations. So the roots of my quadratic equation are x equals 11 and x equals -5. So for this parabola, it crosses the x-axis at x equals 11 and x equals -5. Those are the roots. The third method that we learned for solving a quadratic equation is the quadratic formula. And this whole week has been dedicated to the quadratic formula. I'm not going to go through a full example, but I am going to write the quadratic formula and remind you about the parts. The quadratic formula uses the numbers from the quadratic equation to calculate the roots. In my example, I have 0 is equal to 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. My a is going to be 3, my b is going to be negative 2, and my c is going to be 4. I'm going to substitute those numbers into the quadratic formula and simplify all the way down to a whole number or a decimal. Those numbers are my roots. Again, you did a lot of work with quadratic formula this past week, so if you need to see more examples, go back and watch those Edpuzzle videos. I just want to say that me, Miss Arlack, and Miss Wilson are super proud of you. You've really navigated remote learning really well. You've set up your bedrooms and your homes to be your classroom, and you're sticking it through and doing your best to complete all your work. This is the final stretch. It may seem like you're super behind and you can't get caught up, but you can. We're here to help you. Morning, afternoon, night. You can call me, call us, text us, set up FaceTimes, get on Google Hangouts, anything you need to make sure you learn this algebra so that you can be ready for Algebra 2. It's been amazing, amazing, amazing teaching you this school year. I hope you have a great summer, and I'm not sure why I'm getting teary-eyed because I'm going to see you on Google Hangouts or FaceTime making up all this work, but I really, really will miss every single one of you. Every single one of you are special, and I love you.